Diablo 4 has enjoyed massive success. It's a hit with the critics, it's a hit with the players, but some have been holding back on picking up the latest hellish adventure in the Diablo series, in the hopes that if the long-running Microsoft Activision deal goes through, Diablo 4 will land on Game Pass and let them explore Sanctuary as part of Microsoft's subscription service. But the president of Blizzard Entertainment seems to have sent all those hopes straight to hell. Let's get into it. Blizzard's head honcho Mike Ybarra has come out swinging on any suggestion that Diablo 4 will be heading to Game Pass. Patient fans of the series who wanted to save a bit of dollar rather than pay for the game outright have been waiting on tenterhooks for a while now, holding on to any hope that Diablo 4 would make the jump. And yesterday it looked like their praise to Lilith might have been answered. A leak coming via Game Pass Tracker on Twitter suggested that a Brazilian payment app had jumped the gun and leaked that Diablo 4 could soon be available on Xbox Game Pass. But apparently that was a whole load of hot air. Responding to the tweet directly, Blizzard President Mike Ybarra simply said, "This is not happening." A pretty straight to the point response, and one that immediately killed all potential for Diablo 4 to eventually become available through Game Pass. Right? But all might not be lost. Despite the Blizzard president's pretty black and white statement on the matter, some fans are still hopeful, especially now that Microsoft's proposed $69 billion buyout of Activision Blizzard has seemingly been given the go-ahead. You'd literally have had to be sleeping under a rock to not be aware of the FTC trial recently, as Activision and Microsoft do their best to prove to the gaming world and the world as a whole that a buyout isn't going to be anti-competitive. And after all the arguments and toing and froing of the trial, now that the ruling has gone in favour of the buyout, very little could stand in the way of Microsoft and Activision Blizzard coming together for better or worse. Aside from a final antitrust case again from the FTC, and there's still a few kinks to iron out around the UK as well. But now that it seems the deal will be going through, well then surely the first thing Microsoft will want to do is make sure that their console and subscription service is immediately given access to all of Activision Blizzard's biggest and most popular games, Diablo 4 included. You'd think it would ultimately make business sense for Diablo 4 and, let's face it, most of the Call of Duty series to make the jump to Game Pass and start making that buyout work for Microsoft. Assuming, of course, that it does eventually go through. That said, even if Microsoft do manage to buy Blizzard, it's not 100% nailed on that all of their titles will launch on Game Pass soon or even ever. A lot has come out of the wash during this FTC trial, including Activision Blizzard's big boss Bobby Kotick admitting he's not a fan of multi-game subscription services as a thing, which is why on the whole, Activision Blizzard games have largely stayed away from them. Although he has conceded that while he doesn't agree with it, Microsoft and Activision Blizzard can agree to disagree. And it's probably this agreeing to disagree which has prompted Blizzard's president to respond to this latest leak. Clearly, no one at Activision Blizzard wants to see Diablo 4 on Game Pass for one reason or another. But with the buyout deal appearing to be all but signed and sealed at this point, do we really expect Xbox and Phil Spencer to leave one of Activision Blizzard's biggest games in recent years sitting on the Game Pass bench? That probably means we'll see it on Game Pass sooner rather than later if the deal goes through, right? Or do you reckon fans are kidding themselves? Either way, if you're still loving Diablo 4 as much as we are, you should check out these videos here.